From the campus of Kennedy High School in Bloomington, we proudly present high school girls basketball. Tonight, a battle for first place in the Metro West Conference between two brewing rivals. The Bloomington Kennedy Eagles, winners of 10 of their last 11 games, take on the Robbinsdale Cooper Hawks. Greetings, everyone. I'm Mike Peden alongside Alex Nagel. And Alex, great to have you back. And it's a new conference just in its second season, but you've got a couple of teams who don't like each other, two up-and-coming teams, so a battle for first place should be entertaining tonight.
Oh, no question about it, Mike. You're right. These are two teams that don't particularly care for each other too much. And this is going to be a battle of contrasting styles. You've got the size that Bloomington Kennedy has and the speed and athleticism of Robbinsdale Cooper.
Let's talk about Bloomington Kennedy, the home team. Lashayla Wright-Ponder having an outstanding season in the top 10 in scoring. Her lowest output this season was 12 points, and in all but 3 games, the South Dakota recruit has scored 20 or more. Needless to say, Wright-Ponder is having herself a senior year.
Well, she's averaging 25.5 points per game, Mike, and that just tells you right there what an incredible player she is and the season that she's having. She's obviously their go-to person on this Bloomington Kennedy team, and I think that she's going to have another big night tonight to ensure a victory.
Robbinsdale Cooper, a more balanced squad. There's no one big star, but as Kiara Buford continues her second season, she noted that this young team is developing, and the talent that she saw last year is now resulting in victories.
You're right, Mike. This is a relatively young team, not a lot of experience. But one thing that head coach Kiara Buford, and it seems weird to call her head coach Kiara Buford, the one thing that she really takes pride in with this team is the speed and quickness of her backcourt. She thinks that speed and athleticism that they had can offset the other things, the size that they don't have in games such as this.
What does a battle for first in the conference add to this matchup?
Well, it just adds to the intensity of it, and that's the one thing that Kiara Buford said tonight. They've got to have a lot of intensity, and especially when you're playing on somebody else's home floor, you better be ready to bring it on in such as this.
We'll talk about the implications of getting first in the Metro West Conference as we move along. The starting lineups are coming up in a moment. You're watching high school girls basketball. Welcome back to Bloomington Kennedy High School. Let's take a look at the starters. For the visiting Robbinsdale Cooper Hawks, it's Lauren Johnson, a junior guard, number 3. Micaiah Harvey, the junior guard, number 10. Elizabeth Hepp, the junior forward, number 23. Raina Dixon, the senior center, number 30. And Alexis Nance, the freshman center, number 33. Bloomington Kennedy will start Tyra Spencer, the senior guard, number 3. Amani Saeed-El, the sophomore guard, number 10. Lashayla Wright-Ponder, the senior forward, number 21. Honor Finley, the junior guard, number 22. And Kelly Johnson, the senior forward, number 32. Now, Robbinsdale Cooper starting an unusual lineup. 3 of their starters missed the team bus on the way here, and so they will start the second half, but not the first. So a minor change in how Cooper will scheme things tonight. But outside of that, as you noted, it's going to be Cooper's speed against the physicality and talent of Wright-Ponder.
Well, and you know, in a setting such as this, I'm curious to see as to what kind of an impact that has early on in this contest. The one thing I think that would, give me pause for concern from a Robbinsdale Cooper standpoint is if they get behind early in this contest, it'll be an uphill battle for them, obviously.
These two teams met earlier this season. Kennedy won that decision 59-49. Kennedy lost to Chaska not long after that game, and that is why these two teams are tied at 7-1 in conference play, and this sets up a first-place showdown. Now, we talked about the implications of winning a conference title. Obviously, you get a banner, but in terms of sections, if there's one school that could use it over the other, it would be Kennedy, and here's why. Entering tonight, Kennedy and Holy Angels are neck and neck for the top seed in Section 3, Class 3A. And getting that conference title could give Kennedy a bargaining chip when the coaches meet up. Robbinsdale Cooper in Section 6 4A with Hopkins and Wayzata there, a conference title isn't going to do much in terms of their seeding, but it would certainly be a benchmark for the progression of this young team. That being said, if there's any school that could want this more, it would probably be Kennedy, because a top seed could be on the line.
Well, certainly they stand a lot more to gain from a win tonight, certainly from a seeding standpoint. And, you look at the schedule, I mean, early on in the season, Mike, it was really murderer's row for this team. I mean, they were playing games against Lakeville South, Osseo, and they really didn't start to turn the corner until right around the first of the year, and they reeled off some wins, and they've got a good thing going right now.
The tough schedule, though, is a staple of Quentin Johnson ever since he got here. He wants to play the top teams because he figures that is how you learn how to handle adversity. Other teams might schedule cupcakes. He wants to take on the big dogs, and even if you don't get the wins, you get the lessons, and Kennedy, winners of 10 of their last 11 as they get the tip.
And he thinks that'll pay dividends later on.
And they certainly have, with Kennedy having a 10-9 record. So don't let the records fool you. These two teams have a lot of talent. Kelly Johnson fires from 14, is off the mark, and the rebound is won by Honor Finley, fades away and scores.
One thing that Cooper's going to have to do tonight is limit those second chance opportunities. Kennedy in a 3-2 zone here.
Honor Finley averaging 8.7 points per game. Foul late. Lauren Johnson will shoot free throws. Lauren Johnson averaging 7.5 points per game, and she's got a younger sister as part of this program, and Kiara Buford told me near a 4.0 GPA.
That's pretty good.
Foul on Kelly Johnson, her first. And Kiara Buford took over this program last year, kind of last minute. Originally, she was going to be an assistant and learn the ropes there, but the person that brought her in, Drew Woods, decided to resign just before the season began, and Kiara was approached, and she agreed to take on the head coaching duties. And so last year, she said everything was on the fly. This year, she has some lessons in her blueprint. Johnson splits. Kennedy with a 2-1 lead early. Ball is lost and is picked up, and a foul is called. Micaiah Harvey, well, that's a double dribble, so no foul. Cooper, a former member of the now defunct North Suburban Conference. Kennedy, a former member of the South Suburban. Both are relocated to the Metro West.
I think a fortuitous move for both squads, Mike.
And drawing the foul is Tyra Spencer.
Spencer took a nasty fall there, a little slow getting up. Quentin Johnson going out to check on her. I can't tell.
The officials are calling for it.
Look, she may have inadvertently hit the back of her head. We'll have to check her out here.
And the other official saying go to your bench. So they're going to take a look at Tyra Spencer. And this would be a huge hit, as Tyra Spencer averaging 10.3 a game.
Yeah.
A Division I prospect herself. She's headed to North Dakota State next year. And Quentin Johnson calls Tyra the consummate professional.
Yeah.
She's played through a lot of injuries. She gets up and took a hard hit. Maybe she needs to shake things off a little bit, but she played in the 2 state tournament finals that Kennedy was a part of in 4A.
Thank you, Jesse Newell, our trainer, for his quick attention.
They need to sit a spell. Let's see how long it takes her for her to recover.
And who's going to shoot the free throws here? Because Tyra Spencer got a foul on the way up. It's going to be number 2, Amira Saeed El.
Okay, ladies, here we go. 2 shots, okay? 2 shots.
The junior, 5'4". An interesting blend of youth and experience on this Bloomington Kennedy team, Mike.
You've got the seniors in Spencer and Wright-Ponder, and you're right, a lot of youth coming up behind them. Saeed El splits, but it's Wright-Ponder for the offensive rebound, and a fresh possession for the Eagles. Finley. Over to Saeed El, pass almost mishandled. Amira does recover though. Finley attacks. Cannot get the bounce. And the rebound goes to Alexis Nance. 3-1, Kennedy leads in the first half. Wright-Ponder leaps for the steal, and look at the brakes. Stopped herself from going out of bounds. Can she stop on a dime? Amani to Amira. Out to Amani. Kennedy looking to reset. Kelly Johnson bounces over to Wright-Ponder. She's doubled. Ball is stripped by Elizabeth Hepp. Hepp has a twin sister who plays for the program. And Finley cannot beat Alexis Nance on the fast break. We're tied at 3. There's more of that speed and a foul on Johnson. You can't fault her hustle, though.
No, you certainly can't. Look, she may have had a steal there and just couldn't quite control it. Bloomington Kennedy very fortunate.
Asia Wheeler on the floor, one of the regular starters for the Hawks. Finley bounces over to Amira. Weaves through, kicks out to Kelly Johnson. And that shot is short. The rebound to Wheeler. Three on the way. That's short. And out of Finley with the rebound. If my hunch is right, I would say Asia Wheeler is related to Blake Wheeler. But that, again, is just a hunch. So I won't go with that. Honor Finley cannot get the three. Wright-Ponder, rebound, put back, and the foul.
Right there, Mike, you see why Lashayla Wright-Ponder is one of the best players, certainly in the metro area, if not the state. She uses that size to get that offensive rebound and get a second chance.
And Tyra Spencer's going to sub in. You mentioned offensive rebounding. Quinton Johnson highlighted that aspect about Wright-Ponder's game as her strongest element.
Yep.
Wright-Ponder scored 30 points in the first meeting between these two teams. Her season high is 40. She reached that mark against Buffalo. Maybe a quiet score with the likes of Andrea Adams and Suzanne Gilreath putting up big numbers, but don't underestimate Wright-Ponder. Jump ball, and the arrow favors the Hawks, but good post defense by the Eagles as they jam Lauren Johnson.
Well, Lauren Johnson really got herself into hornet's nest there down low.
Except I don't see any Hornets. All I see are Eagles. You know I couldn't resist.
I know you couldn't resist. It's not the first time. It probably won't be the last time either.
Honor Finley intercepts the entry pass. Tyra Spencer brings it up court, looking for Wright-Ponder. The bounce pass a little rough, but Spencer with the old board falls backward, and Amani Saeed-El gets the long deuce. Kennedy with an 8-3 lead.
Well, great job by Tyra Spencer getting the ball off. She fell down, took a nasty hit.
And Cooper throws it away. Nope, the call was reversed. And UU Longs will enter the floor following this timeout by Cooper. 8-3 is the score, 14:22 left in the first half, and Bloomington Kennedy showing a lot of hustle in the opening minutes.
Yeah, they sure are. They're coming out with a lot of intensity, a lot of emotion. And Lashayla Wright-Ponder doing the job down low, getting offensive rebounds. And obviously, I think that had to be a concern coming into this game for Kiara Buford. You know, they had to find a way to limit those second chance opportunities that Bloomington Kennedy so far is getting.
Now, we talked about how weird it was in the open to call Kiara Buford a head coach.
Yeah.
And that's because Alex and I are familiar with her as a player. She played 4 years at St. Paul Central, won 2 state tournaments, back-to-back, then continued her college career with the Gophers, scoring over 1,500 career points. Not the most decorated player, but one of the most memorable, you could say, and played a year overseas, and now she's here as a coach.
Well, I think that experience that she has as a player is only going to prove to be a huge benefit to the players on this Robbinsdale Cooper team.
Did you know that Kiara Buford is the first? Well, hang on. Amani Saeed-El with the steal. Behind the back pass to Spencer, leaves it short, but Wright-Ponder is there and gets the cleanup. Another example of Wright-Ponder's offensive rebounding prowess.
Boy, she's doing it all right now.
I was going to say Kiara Buford is the first coach who I called as a player. I started my prep coverage 10 years ago, and one of the teams I followed heavily back then was the St. Paul Central Super Team. I've gotten to know the Buford family very well. Tough shot. And a dead ball rebound to the Hawks.
Well, Gaston only 5'6". Really had to take an awkward shot there.
Nance will go in place of Raina Dixon. Jahia Gaston, number 5. Cross-court passes tip, picked off. Wright-Ponder on the outlet, and she's fouled. It will be a side out.
Well, so far, Bloomington Kennedy making Robbinsdale Cooper play their game, more of a half-court style of game, and Robbinsdale Cooper wants to run and use their speed and athleticism, and they really haven't had that many opportunities to do so, Mike.
And I would attribute that to poise. Kennedy showing more of it in the opening minutes here. Spencer out on the wing. Goes to Amani. Fakes the 3. Goes to Johnson. Mid-range. Cannot get the bounce. Wright-Ponder. Got one offensive rebound. Can't get a second. UU Longs. Loses the ball. And Spencer scoops it up. Bounces over to Finley, fakes the 3. Mid-range shot was low, but a foul was called, and I believe Finley will go to the line. Honor Finley, a track star, took part in the state track meet a year ago. And
I was just going to say, Quentin Johnson really likes that aspect, of her speed.
He says she can fly around and get steals, among other things. Averaging 8.7 points per game. She scored 8 in the previous meeting against Cooper. Cannot convert, though. And as we say in basketball, that was a good foul.
Yep.
But that's the second personal on UU Longs. She'll stay on the floor for now, and that's a traveling violation on Alexis Nance.
Well, already, Mike, you can see the size of Bloomington Kennedy really causing a plethora of problems for this Robbinsdale Cooper team down low.
And I covered Kennedy earlier this season when they lost to Como. One thing I noted as Amani Saeed-El misses the 3. Look again, it's Wright-Ponder. She's Mrs. Clean tonight.
Yep.
Mr. Clean, if you need a partner, we've got one for you. But one thing I noted was not to look over this team because the record is not indicative of how competitive they are. And Kennedy showing that competitiveness here. Longs for 3. That's strong. And blocked was Wheeler.
Lashayla Wright-Ponder with that block.
Playing some defense. She's all over the post. Finley, no. Wright-Ponder again.
Wow.
That's her 4th putback. And Kennedy with a 14-3 lead. Wheeler seeing a lot of traffic. Kennedy, it looks like they're doing a 3-2.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Nance inside. Doesn't get the basket, but will shoot 2. The foul is on Wright-Ponder.
Well, good job by Alexis Nance, the freshman, drawing the foul there, hoping to momentarily stop anyway this Bloomington Kennedy avalanche.
Nance averaging 5 points per game. Transitioned to a starting role last year as an 8th grader. And that's something Buford noted. She has a lot of 8th graders on this team from a year ago that are now 9th graders, and it's another year of experience.
That free throw finally halted this 11-0 run by the Eagles.
Johnson. Skip to Wright-Ponder. Jump ball. Kennedy with the arrow, and a tough break for Jahia Gaston.
A good job by Gaston there, getting in there and getting the steal. That's one thing that Robbinsdale Cooper does very well.
If it makes it easier for you, Gaston also will accept Jew as her first name.
Oh.
Jew Gaston. Tyra Spencer backpedals, but that's a traveling violation. I can't hear everything that's being said in front of us, but I'll have to say, having a courtside view, I'm not used to it. It's refreshing.
Well, it's a little different, and you really see the kind of perspective of how tough it is to penetrate that 3-2 zone of Bloomington Kennedy. They're so big, and they have such a long reach.
Dixon in trouble. Kicks out. Gaston can't handle the pass. Trapped in the corner. Got it off a Kennedy player. Another perspective we get is just how intense these coaches can be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We can hear almost everything. UU Longs will reset. Dixon inside. Goes up. Kelly Johnson was there, and so was Honor Finley to stop that drive. Spencer. Will she go coast to coast? No, she'll kick out for Johnson. But she's short, and mistimed her own rebound. It was bouncing right to her, and she took one step forward.
Yeah, she was just
one step too many.
She was just a little off balance on that.
But it's been all Kennedy in the first half. Gaston picked off. Saida with the steal. Amani traveled. Another tough break because she had Wright-Ponder. All she needed was a shovel pass.
Well, the one thing on that latest turnover by Robbinsdale Cooper, when you go against this 3-2 zone of Bloomington Kennedy, because they are so long, you have to be really precise and crisp with your passes, and I'm sure that's one thing that Kiara Buford will stress to her team in this timeout.
Kennedy calls a timeout. 14-4 is the score in favor of the Eagles. Let's talk a little more about Wright-Ponder if we can find the information in our breakdown book. Alex, as always, with that trusty Bible. Well, while we wait for that, we mentioned that these two teams don't necessarily like each other. UU Longs picked up a technical in the last meeting. And Kiara Buford has noted discipline has been one of the elements she's had to work on. But Lashayla Wright-Ponder really loves school. Well, that's always good to hear. Also takes part in volleyball and a Night Mentor, which is a program that helps freshmen, similar to the First Mates program that Minnetonka runs. And as you know, headed to South Dakota, and I don't want to say an underrated prep star for Bloomington Kennedy, but Quinton Johnson was a bit perplexed that Wright-Ponder wasn't featured in the list of McDonald's All-American nominees. And a couple of players from Chaska were, but he said that's just further motivation to improve your game.
Yeah. I think when they see this performance just in the first half alone, they may change their mind.
Or they'll wish they could. But Johnson did say this, that if Wright-Ponder can get to the state tournament as Tyra Spencer steals the ball, she'd be one of the few players to get to the big dance in 3 out of 4 years. Dead ball rebound to the Hawks, 9:31 left in the first half.
Well, Robbinsdale Cooper dodges another bullet there after that turnover.
And whether they get the 2 seed or the 1 seed in Section 338, Kennedy has a very good chance of making the state tournament field after a rough season a year ago. Dixon, wild shot, but it goes in for her first field goal. Samantha Husting, is on the floor for the Eagles, number 23. Pass up top, deflected, and it's picked off. UU Longs. There's the speed you spoke of, and she draws the foul on Houston. Kiara Buford called UU Longs a point guard who can shoot, drive, or pass, and
she showed it right there.
Well, she can drive, we know that much. One of the 2 seniors on the Cooper roster this year, averaging 8.7 a game. Kiara Buford, when I spoke to her in pregame, I asked her what led her to take on this coaching role. I love those basket mics. You can hear exactly what the officials are pointing out.
Yeah.
But Buford noted that she wanted to do high school because there's more teaching and development than college. And she really wants to mentor and mold the next generation of athletes. But Cooper missing both free throws and an empty possession. Houston leaves it short. Wright-Ponder will not get her fifth put back there. And we'll still have to wait for it. Had a couple of tough shots. There's Longs. Out to Wheeler, used up the dribble. Now she needs help. Goes out to Longs to reset. Longs tried the bounce pass. And I'm not sure who it went off of, but it went off a leg of a Kennedy player, so another side out here for the Hawks.
And you're right, Mike. Wheeler did give up her dribble a little bit too soon there. It could have been big trouble.
Well, Asa Wheeler, a freshman, and as we noted before, this is a fairly young Cooper team. So a lot of pieces in development. Raina Dixon led with the elbow. Comes up strong there. Honor Finley with the swat. And that draws a reaction from Kennedy's photographer, Abe Booker III, along with the cheerleaders. And
that's definitely what you would call a swat, all right.
I have to give a shout out to Abe because he also helps with my coverage of the Minnesota Lynx. He has taken photographs for my coverage over the last 2 years, and you should have seen the look on his face when they won the title last year. Raina Dixon can't get the bounce. Wright-Ponder with the defensive rebound. Spencer bounces over to Finley. And Finley with the finish. I thought Finley was going to go out of bounds. Of course, we have a tough vantage point, but did a good job working the baseline. Johnson out to Gaston. Now the bounce over to Harvey. Johnson has it again. Ooh. That zone defense is creating fits for Cooper's spacing.
Yeah, it really is. And we're getting quite a unique vantage point of how difficult it is to penetrate this Bloomington Kennedy 3-2 zone.
I don't think it'd be any more difficult to decipher if we were up in the bleachers.
No.
I've been very impressed so far. Well, Quentin Johnson over the weekend did tell me you were going to see a few surprises with this Kennedy team. He likes to mix things up a little bit. Wheeler used up the dribble and cannot finish the drive. Wright-Ponder. Another defensive rebound. She's going to have a double-double at this rate before the first half is out.
She's well on her way.
Spencer cannot hit the step-back J, and the rebound by Harvey. Wheeler backs off. Gaston has it. Kelly Johnson deflects the entry pass intended for Dixon.
Well, give Cooper some credit here. It looked like they were in some big trouble here just a few minutes ago, but they're right in that 10-point range. If they can get it down to, say, 6-7 points, they'll feel a lot better about themselves going into the locker room at the half, Mike.
16-6. Like you said, Cooper's able to hang around, but they're not getting points, and they're going to need some. Gaston missing from three-point range. Kennedy.
I think Tyra Spencer got a piece of that. I thought she did anyway.
Officials say no because it's Kennedy ball. Spencer to Houston. Now to Johnson, the kick out. Finley from the corner. No good. And Spencer with the rebound. One thing that has changed the situation for Cooper, they're sending more bodies to Wright-Ponder.
Yeah.
you cannot leave Wright-Ponder in ISO coverage.
Oh, no.
Houston with the long deuce. 18-6 is our score.
Well, it's definitely a pick your poison proposition now for the Cooper Hawks.
Do you deal with Wright-Ponder, or do you take your chances with one of the supporting cast members?
Exactly.
Unable to hit the floater was Harvey. Rebound Finley. Outlet pass to Wright-Ponder, and she's fouled. That is the last to give for the Hawks. It's on Gaston. And Lashayla Wright-Ponder. In the words of Quentin Johnson, their dinner roll, Kennedy's dinner roll, gets butter thanks to that woman.
Yep.
And this 3-2 defense that we've seen, Quentin Johnson has a nickname for that as well. He calls it the Twilight Zone.
And I can see why. All we need is that da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Wright-Ponder misses both free throws, though. The Twilight Zone, that reminds me of a few stories Tony Gear had, especially with William Shatner when he was a guest for one of those episodes. Alexis Nance goes to the line, and she will shoot a pair.
Well, Alexis Nance really got in a I-5 traffic jam there down low.
Yeah, just recreating what conditions are like along 494. Nance makes the front end.
Or the 405, as we say in Southern California.
Yes, I know, the Rams are back in LA. You don't need to rub it in. Vance makes both free throws. Cooper 4 of 8 from the line. Spencer to Houston for 3. Can't bounce it in. Finley showing a little put-back game of her own. And a delay of game warning on Wright-Ponder.
Now, I'm not sure what happened there. I didn't really see anything out of the ordinary.
Well, if she touched the ball, even if it's inadvertent, after you score, you can't touch the ball in any capacity. And so, first violation is a warning. The second is a technical. But I wouldn't worry about that too much. Harvey missing the long 2. And the rebound is won by Wright-Ponder. And that's the kind of player Wright-Ponder is, though. She goes right back at it. And that's a foul on Gaston, her second. Tyra Spencer will go to the line, 1-on-1 scenario.
Great job by Samantha Husting getting that pass. It almost looked like it was headed right for us.
Reminds me of my days covering Gophers games at Williams Arena. You know how press row is.
Oh, yeah.
Tyra Spencer gets on the board.
Substitution for Cooper, number 2, Asia.
Quentin Johnson noted, we've been talking about the schemes that Kennedy has run. He said opponents now are getting more confused about what they're running. And throughout the season, his players are picking it up. And so it's going according to plan. Quentin Johnson knew he may not get a lot of wins early, but it would pay off later. Spencer made both free throws. Meanwhile, Alexis Nance gets the rebound and the putback.
Robbinsdale Cooper needs more of those.
Kick ball, and it sails over our heads and into the stands.
Now, that one was definitely coming toward us.
And neither of us were attentive enough to go get it. This is why we're down on the floor. Kennedy will have it with 4:30 to go in the first half. Spencer to Finley. Kennedy around the perimeter. Houston to Johnson. Entry pass to Wright-Ponder, and that's going to be a foul on Cooper. Non-shooting foul, so it's a 1-of-1 for Wright-Ponder. And Kiara Buford
wanting some explanation on that.
So back to the line goes Wright-Ponder. She cannot hit, and an empty possession for the Eagles. Bounce pass. Baseline, Jay is way too strong. And the rebound, Finley tipped it. And Wheeler throws up an errant shot, so Finley gets it anyway. Houston, or I should say Johnson, faked the shot. There's Houston. On the line, but good for 2. Houston with 4 off the bench.
And a 24-10 lead at that, too.
Kennedy using an 11-0 run early, and they've been able to stay in front. Another baseline try, that's off the mark, and Wright-Ponder leaps up to take that rebound away from Nance. Now she's in trouble, but finds Spencer. And Kennedy will not get the outlet pass off. Longs cannot get the steal, but
great hustle by Yu Longs there.
if she didn't have breaks, she would have gone all the way up the stands, crashed the wall, and she'd be all the way out to Richfield.
There's Yu Longs with the steal.
And the speed, too strong. And a foul on Johnson. Kennedy had 1 to give. It will be a side out for the Hawks, but a missed opportunity there for Cooper.
My goodness, you see the quickness and the speed of Yu Longs right there, Mike. I mean, she came out of nowhere to steal that inbounds pass.
Substitution number 2.
Longs was a starter earlier in the season, but she was swapped for Jahia Gaston. Longs escapes the trap. But Tyra Spencer with the deflection, and that is going to be a live ball. It's picked up by the Hawks. Nance Snow gets a second try, too strong. And another scramble and a foul on Cooper. And you're seeing the difference in experience between these two teams. Cooper having trouble finishing down low. Kennedy not so much.
Well, and it's the size too, Mike.
That's her second, 9th for the team at the line.
The foul is the second on Elizabeth Hepp. Tyra Spencer to the line. And Quentin Johnson believes, we talked about the implications of this game and winning the conference. Kennedy, because they play mostly 4A teams in their schedule, if he feels if they can win out, Kennedy would get that top seed. No steal for the Eagles, but they do lead by 16. And looking at their schedule, there are a couple more 3A opponents in their conference, Benilde St. Margaret's and Richfield, but you've got Chaska, I'm sure a game they'd love to get back on Friday. Bloomington Jefferson, a team they dominated in the first meeting. Minneapolis Washburn, a winnable game there. And Chanhassen, another opportunity for a win.
Look out.
Wright-Ponder on the outlet. Oh no! Missed another opportunity. But another offensive rebound for the Eagles. And that has to be killing the Hawks right now. Houston, bullseye.
Well, Houston,
no two-pointer.
really having a fabulous first half for the Bloomington Kennedy Eagles, Mike.
6 off the bench and showing her range. Quentin Johnson called her dynamite with the new defense he installed. Another scramble. This is turning into hot potato. Spencer has it with numbers. Through the hole. No good. Finley cannot get the rebound, but Cooper cannot corral it. And the Eagles with a 28-10 lead.
Just when we thought that Robbinsdale Cooper, they had it back into single digits here not that long ago, and all of a sudden it's gotten away from them again. And here's Yu Longs trying to change that.
All alone, and she gets the steal and the run out. That's your first field goal. And Cooper will take anything they can get at this point. 1:30 left in the first half. Longs. Almost got another steal. We do have a foul call, though. And it's on Kennedy.
Yep.
They're out of fouls to give, so free throws coming for UU Longs.
And here's where, if you're Robbinsdale Cooper, I think with 128 left, you can down 18, or excuse me, down 16. I think you have to gamble a little bit.
But Longs is short. Okay, that ball stopped right in front of us.
Right in front of us. We've seen it all in this first half, Mike.
It is Cooper ball. It's okay, we're expendable. Longs to Wheeler. Look at that collapse by Kennedy, and it results in a steal for Spencer. Wheeler had it, and 3 players collapsed on her position. Less than a minute to go. Saidel fakes the pass, hits the runner. Amira Saidel with her first field goal. Entry pass intended for Dixon, deflected by Finley, and Kennedy very adept at that.
Oh, I tell you, it just shows you how hard it is to move on this 3-2 zone and get the ball around because they're so long. You have to be very precise with your passes.
Kennedy with an 18-point lead. Once again, crowding the interior, but this time Wheeler wins the scrum and draws the foul on Saidel. It'll be the first on Amira, and Wheeler will shoot 2. Kiara noted that Wheeler can score even in bad games. She had 11 in the first meeting with the Eagles. Considers her a natural athlete and one of the most consistent players on the Cooper roster, but that was her first point.
And if Robbinsdale Cooper is going to somehow get back into this contest, this is where they have to cash in at the charity stripe.
Lane violation, so wipe away the free throw.
Lane violation. So Asian gets one from the free throw line.
That's another side effect of use sometimes. Cooper trails by 17. Kennedy, it appears to hold for the final shot with 20 seconds. But you have to be careful with UU Longs guarding you. Wright-Ponder for 3. That's off. Not sure if that was the play Quentin Johnson wanted. Longs with the speed, bounces over to Dixon. Kennedy wanted to travel, won't get it. Jump ball, and Cooper with the arrow. 2.6 on the clock, so they'll have time.
What really one of the few transition opportunities that the Cooper Hawks have had tonight.
They've got time for a shot with 2.6 on the clock. Wheeler has it, kicks out, and they get it off, but it will be off the mark. And Johnson unable to hit, and Kennedy with a dominant first half. They lead 30-13 over Robbinsdale Cooper.
Well, and obviously one of the sore spots for Kiara Buford has to be the rebounds that they've given up on the defensive end. You know, of course, Lashayla Wright-Ponder having her way down low, and they've got to find a way to somehow neutralize her.
Wright-Ponder with 4 putbacks, and she's getting help from Honor Finley and Samantha Houston. So we'll pause, and before we do, we're going to show you a few highlights from Kiara Buford's playing career. As we noted, I had a chance to cover many of her games.
I think she could still play if she has some eligibility.
Oh, she still could. I'll tell you more about that when we resume. This is high school girls basketball Metro West style. The Bloomington Kennedy Eagles lead 30-13, and let's go to the vault.
All of my friends played, for the most part, like my really close friends. I've played basketball since I was in 2nd grade, so I mean, it's something that, you know, I always did and expected that I was going to play until as far as I could. My mom coached me for a long time, so she was my coach. When I first started playing for Conway, she was my coach. So, and my dad used to always shoot with me all the time. So both my parents, you know, play basketball. My family is very close, and they've always supported me. You know, no matter what, I can have the worst game in the world, and to know that I can walk over there and they're going to be like, "Good game," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know, okay." But I think it definitely helps.
Misses both, but Buford with the rebound. And gets the 2 points anyway. And another steal. You were saying. Buford from downtown. Bullseye!
Did penetration and 2 points.
Kiara Buford will respond on the other end.
South running a trap 2-3.
Buford for 3. Bullseye! Kiara Buford back in the game. She'll take a 3. Bullseye!
Every team wants to win state, so to win it and have a 32-0 season, you know, it was great. A lot of attention.
Buford, here she comes. Gets the kiss off the glass. Now they're going to look to do something.
Here goes Buford.
Spins around. Gets the basket to end the first half.
And that's the Taylor Hill that we've known for the last couple years.
Buford will try for 3 again. Bullseye! Buford, mid-range shot, swish. Taylor Hill with the rebound, and she can't handle Buford. Buford, spinorama! The lead is now 3.
I don't want anybody to say that, you know, I was selfish or, you know, a mean person. I just want everybody to say, you know, she was, you know, nice, helped me if I needed help with anything, basically like that. Especially younger kids, people that are younger than me, that look up to me. I love to give advice to younger girls or younger players, and you know, coming from inner city, and you know, I have a lot of friends that didn't finish college, and I just want people to realize there's a lot of important things besides playing a game. To be that type of role model in somebody's life is like, that's the most rewarding thing for me, regardless of whether I go out on the court and score 22, 26 points. Like, at the end of the day, like, to know that I have little cousins that look up to me and think I'm so cool because I went to college and played basketball, like, that's a good feeling.
And we return to Bloomington Kennedy High School and getting a chance to look at those archives from Kiara Buford as Abe Booker gets my mugshot that will be used to blackmail me next season, I'm pretty sure, when the Lynx take the floor. But Kiara Buford wanted to get into teaching or administration after she decided to finish up her playing career, and so she took a job at Cooper. And that's what led to the Cooper gig, but Buford knows a few things about transitions. She took a new job over at the Fair School this year, and so she gets to play with a lot of the 4th through 8th graders, and she can still hit a mid-range jump shot if you're wondering.
Oh, yeah.
But another Buford who will follow her next year is Jada. If you remember, she was with Park Center, but decided to switch to Cooper because she didn't feel like she was getting the playing time she wanted to help develop her game.
Yeah.
And so she was playing for Park Center's varsity, transferred in late January, so she'll have to sit out a year per the transfer rule. But come January 24th, Jada Buford will officially be playing for her sister.
That'll be really interesting to see, I have to admit.
Kennedy with a 30-13 lead over the Robbinsdale Cooper Hawks, and that's a good way to start the second half. Lauren Johnson hits a triple. That's
exactly what they needed. Now they need to get some stops as well. Let's see if that 2-3 zone can cause some problems now for the Eagles. And right there's a steal.
Cooper made a lot of games last year. They had 8 wins. They're up to 12 this year, and again, they're young, and a lot of those wins have come against conference opponents, but sometimes building the foundation is a slow, gradual process.
Well, I tell you what, once Lashayla Wright-Ponder posts up down low, she's so hard to stop.
So that was Lashayla who scored?
Yep.
That brings her up to 11. Inside play, and there's her defensive prowess getting the block.
The defensive play with an exclamation point, I may add.
She's going to be quite a kid to watch at South Dakota. Her free throw shot isn't on point tonight, but everything else is. Gaston used up the lane too quickly, or should say dribble, and comes up with a tough shot there. Saidel for 3. Yes!
Oh.
Amani Saidel with the first triple. Wheeler, high-low is too high for Dixon. And Buford, I guess she, among the many struggles that she's had tonight, said the biggest challenge with coaching is not being able to play. She can call out the plays, run subs, but she cannot go out there and influence the outcome, something she was used to doing for so many years.
Yep.
Tyra Spencer cannot hit the three-pointer.
And make no mistake, she still probably could.
She did play overseas for a year before starting a family of her own. She's a mother of two, under 3 years old. Her daughter London is 2.5, and her son D-Star is 7 months old. Although London has referred to him as baby. I'm sure they'll get the names down eventually.
Oh yeah.
Buford noted this Cooper team was exciting to watch last year, but they lost a lot of games. And she really felt lucky that she got to inherit a team that she felt had a lot of talent that just needed refinement. But did you know rebuilding projects, they take time? North is going through that now. Minneapolis North, I should know. Tyra Spencer
Nice little running jumper.
And Kennedy all over the Hawks. Amani Saidel read the pass, can't get the steal, but...
Well, aside from the rebounding, I'm sure the other thing that was stressed by Kiara Buford in the locker room at halftime, Mike, was taking care of the rock, and they're just not doing that tonight.
As anyone will tell you, ball control is key. Turnovers will kill you. There's another one.
Right there.
No, it's a kickball. So Cooper hangs on to it, but Kennedy's defensive pressure unrelenting.
Yep.
There's the 3-2 Twilight Zone again. Finley with the deflection, Kelly Johnson with the steal. Spencer with numbers. Comes up short. And Wright-Ponder unable to corral the rebound, but a dead ball rebound will be awarded to the Eagles. Spencer to inbound. She'll go out to Amani Saidel. Finley misses the elbow, Jay. Dixon with the rebound, but doesn't see Finley behind her and ends up losing the ball. So Kennedy with another possession here. Spencer surveying the field. Finley bounces to Wright-Ponder and one. Wow.
That just shows you how strong Lashayla Wright-Ponder really is, Mike. He had two people doubling on her, and she still managed to get the shot, get it in.
Wright-Ponder scored 1,000 points early this season. And do you have a guess on who presented her the game ball when they honored that feat? Do you have a guess? I'm just wondering if you know.
No.
Kanisha Bell presented her with the ceremonial ball. And Kanisha Bell is back here. She'll have to wait until next year to resume her college career, but she will be in maroon and gold. And how about the Gophers? Rachel Banham dropping 60 2 days ago.
Yeah, that was something. You know, you mentioned Kanisha Bell, and think about those state tournament teams that were there just a few years ago. I think a lot about some of the memories from 10, 11 years ago when Bloomington Kennedy was led by players such as Jenna Smith, Tasha Morosak, Heather McPhee. A lot of great memories there.
Ashley Robinson, I think, as well. Kelly Johnson, high-low for Wright-Ponder. Do you think she designed that? Did she intend to miss her own shot so she could get another putback? Banking the triple is Jahia Gaston for her first field goal.
Well, right now, Robbinsdale Cooper will take anything they can get. Down 42-19.
Spencer at the top of the key. Reeves to the hole, cannot finish. No putback this time for Wright-Ponder. And Wheeler has it with a full head of steam.
And that's something that Robbinsdale Cooper has needed to do all night long. Get into transition and get those easy opportunities. And they've been few and far between.
42-21. Kennedy over Cooper. Seidel with a skip to Kelly Johnson. That's strong. Wright-Ponder too far underneath.
Here we go again.
Wheeler has it. Almost traveled there. Longs will reset and fire the three. No good, and the rebound is tipped to Amani Seidel. There's a bit of a bump. Cooper applying full court pressure. It pays off. And Wheeler gets the finish.
The Hawks bring some
So that's a fast
pressure
break.
here.
You call that a fast break putback. And Kennedy throws it away. So Cooper getting a little momentum here. They still trail by 19, but
And Quentin Johnson wants his team to settle down a little bit.
I was going to say, if Cooper gets a few more plays in, that's going to boost them around. The Hawks have scored the last 7 points, but they're going to need a few more to reel their way back in it. And Finley blocks Johnson. Now another scramble. That's going to be a jump, and Kennedy with the arrow. Now we talked about the transition that Kiara Buford went through, which includes her younger sister Jada. If you recall, Quentin Johnson was in that realm himself a few years ago.
Yep.
He said he never had received so many second guesses in his life because he took over a program that was led by Percy Wade.
There's another steal.
And that was Gaston, but she misses. Wheeler's there for another O board. Good bounce pass, but unable to get the finish as Longs. Wheeler has it. Cannot get the bounce. Another rebound for the Hawks. Gaston for 3. Gets the bounce.
It took a few times there, but they finally got it.
We'll send a thank you card to the rim for that one.
Robbinsdale Cooper cutting into this deficit a little bit.
That's a foul on Wheeler, but the Hawks have scored the last 10. But to finish up on Kennedy's transition, he took over, and one of the old assistants was the father of the Martins, Jade and Jasmine.
Yep.
Tanoa Wade, the daughter of Percy Wade, and so there were a lot of. As Kelly Johnson hits along too. Quentin Johnson's going to call a timeout. Quentin faced a lot of scrutiny for the style that he wanted to implement, and it wasn't easy, but the players stuck with it. They got to 2 state tournament finals. They could have won both, did not, and the one with Eastview was especially heartbreaking. But those that stuck around and stayed with it, Kenesha Bell is reaping benefits now, and Quentin had said, he's much more relaxing, so to speak, than it was back then. But it's not easy to take over a program, and Kennedy had a lot of success with Percy Wade winning a state title back in 05.
And that's just the thing, you take over a program, and whenever you have that change in style, it's a new system, a new way of doing things, and sometimes it is hard to adapt.
Last year, Kennedy had just 7 wins, but part of that was the injury to Tyra Spencer. And so they had a lot of games where they were blown out. But with a healthy Tyra Spencer, you're seeing the difference she makes on this team.
Absolutely. And the other thing about that too, Mike, is it takes a lot of the load off of Lashayla Wright-Ponder.
And speaking of parentage, we mentioned Kiara's daughter and son. Quentin Johnson's wife recently gave birth to his son, which Quentin calls a Super Bowl baby because it happened on Sunday night. And so he's hoping that perhaps his son will be featured in the Super Bowl babies commercial down the road. That was one of my favorites from Super Bowl 50. New player in for the Hawks as we resume action. It is number 45. I'll get to her name in a moment. Johnson missing the 3-pointer. Number 45 is Massacre.
Coast to coast by Tyra Spencer.
Tyra Spencer showing her speed. Kennedy back up by 20. Johnson faking the entry pass. Too high, but getting the recovery, and the bucket is number 45. Massaquoi, Arthel Massaquoi. And Kiara Buford noted that she's trying to get more minutes in for Massaquoi.
Massaquoi, the freshman, good job there.
Honor Finley cannot hit the corner shot. The rebound won by Longs.
Here's another transition opportunity.
She's going full throttle, and a jump. Cooper with the arrow.
Kiara Buford not happy about that.
Returning to the Cooper.
10:42 left in the second half, and Kennedy with a 46-28 lead. Cooper showing some life here in the second half. But is it going to be enough to overcome this deficit? I will say this, they're becoming far scrappier, and Kennedy cannot hook the outlet pass up. And that was an awkward fall for Kelly Johnson, but she gets back up.
A little too high for her, and she tried to reach for it and came down very awkwardly. She looks to be okay.
Longs kicks out. 3 on the way. That's going to be short. Longs with the rebound. Cooper with another try. Gaston, that 3 may have been deflected, and Wright-Ponder scoops it up. And that's going to be a foul on Gaston. I believe that is her third.
Number 5, Jahia Weston. That's her third.
It is her third.
Third for the team.
Once in a while, I get something right. But the Eagles still lead by 18 with 10 minutes to play. Spencer to Finley. Johnson from the elbow. Swish.
Nice touch by Johnson on that shot.
Wynton Johnson noted that Kelly Johnson is a big reason that Lashayla is able to score at the rate she is. And has a great mid-range shot. Finley with the steal. She's got numbers. She'll take it herself. And gets a finish. Kennedy back up by 22. Longs runs into a wall. It's a kick. And Cooper will hang on to it.
Substitutions. Number 2, Asia Winner. Number 33, Alexis Nance. For the Eagles, number 23,
Suns coming in. Three on the way was missed, and Finley was in trouble, tried to get it off Wheeler. And Finley dives to make the save. Houston picks it up, and Kennedy will get another possession here. Finley fakes the 3. And now we'll reset things. Houston, she'll drive and wedge the ball.
Well,
that's a jump, so Kennedy will get it.
Somebody will get it. Not
Wilkie
quite.
Spencer. What about Finley?
She can't
she's
get
short
it.
too.
Took him.
Wright-Ponder has the vertical. We're talking about Tyra Spencer and everything she's gone through. We mentioned going to North Dakota State, also part of the Ignite mentorship program at Kennedy. So a lot of mentors on this team. Finley, dangerous pass. She's able to retrieve it though. And Kennedy up by 22 with 8:36 left. We'll go to Kelly Johnson. She misses. Look who's there, Wright-Ponder. She can't put it in that time.
Well, I tell you, she's so hard to box out.
Spencer, the inbound, finds Wright-Ponder. Goes out to Finley. Finley. One-handed shot, no. Gets her own miss. Kicks out to Spencer. And Kennedy's rebounding. Near impeccable tonight. Spencer, step back. No. Kennedy will hang on to it. Looking at some of these other notes, Honor Finley also plays tennis when she's not playing hoops. And Houston will fire. Cannot hit the three. Another O-board. Well, give Kennedy this. They're eating up clock at least. And Wright-Ponder will go to the line. My most amusing note from the Kennedy roster is Kelly Johnson, the senior. She has 2 different colored eyes.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
That's news to me. Fouls on Longs, but Kennedy had about 10 offensive rebounds at least. Wright-Ponder may not get to 30, but her rebounding is a big reason Kennedy has pulled away from this one.
Yeah.
Wright-Ponder makes both free throws, and that was something that Kennedy had trouble with in the first half of the season, working their way to the foul line. And that was highly evident in their loss to Como Park, among other games. Apple Valley was another one. Cooper throws it away. And unless something funky happens, it looks like Kennedy will assume first place in the Metro West. And a win of this proportion, if it holds up, could give them a boost again when we get to sections as well.
Oh, no question about it, Mike. You know, it's wins like this, I mean, assuming that they do close the deal here, that can go a long way once late February rolls around.
Kelly Johnson with the entry pass to Wright-Ponder, and 2 seniors hook up for the score. Wright-Ponder up to 20. Another reason we mentioned Kennedy's section implications, looking at the rest of that field, as getting a friendly bounce is Alexis Nance, which up to 9. Holy Angels and Kennedy are likely going to be the 2 teams battling out for a state tournament berth. Yeah. The rest of that section is not that impressive in simple terms. You have Simley, who's okay. They're 10 of 10. Finley missing there. Wheeler with the rebound. Let's see what she does here. Through the hole and going nowhere. She draws a foul.
And watching this Bloomington Kennedy team tonight, Mike, it just seems so hard to believe that they got off of the 0-10 start that they did. I mean, they've really improved by leaps and bounds in a relatively short period of time.
Well, remember, they started their season with Eastview, Lakeville North, 2 perennials in 4A. They played Hopkins, and that was a game that was supposed to be held here, but there was a basket malfunction as Wheeler's at the free throw line, and so they had to move the game over to Hopkins. Apple Valley, they're on the rise. You mentioned them earlier. Como Park, one of the top teams in 3A this year. Wheeler splits. And Cooper, they will get better. That's a jump, and Cooper has the arrow, but they got to work on finishing down low.
Yeah.
I think that's evident.
Yep.
Timeout, Cooper.
And, you know, I think for a young team like Robbinsdale, Cooper, the other thing I think, at least for the long term anyway, is getting stronger.
But taking a look at the rest of that section, section 3-3A, Simley, they're okay at 10 and 10. And then after that, it's not much of a contest. Harding would get the 4 seed. They actually have the best record in terms of percentage, but the QRF would indicate that Harding's strength of schedule is non-existent.
Yeah.
Visitation, South St. Paul did get a win over Fridley. Richfield has struggled all year, and so has Highland Park. So unless something weird happens, it's going to be those 2 schools. And so getting a top seed probably won't change that trajectory, but it would give you an easier route.
Right.
Because as you know, in most sections, the section championships are played in neutral venues anyway.
Right.
So there's no home field at stake.
No.
With section 6, Cooper, they're in a battle with Southwest right now for the 3 seed. And again, seeing them get past Wayzata or Hopkins would be difficult to envision at this point.
Yep.
But
they could
winning a first-round game would be a progress for them.
And I think they're a team that could, be one of those teams that are what you would term lurkers. You know, they're out there. They could be a factor.
Foul on Houston with 6:24 to go.
23, Sam Houston, her second, third for the team.
And Kiara Buford noted that when you take a coaching job, you have to go with what you have.
Yeah.
Because you can't recruit like you can in college, and you can't work out trades or free agent signings like you can in the pros. So you have to work with the team that's there as Unique Longs gets the putback through the fadeaway. And that doesn't mean you can't do things to establish a culture and bring in more people.
I think that's going to be the big challenge for Kiara Buford here in the short term.
And getting more wins will certainly draw attention.
Yeah. I think the winning part will take care of itself.
Well, entering this game, Cooper had won 5 of their last 6. Now, you could say, well, most of them came against Metro West teams, but you still have to acknowledge that they are victories.
Yep.
Including a 2-point nail-biter with Chaska. And they had a pretty good stretch of wins earlier in the year. They won 5 in a row after dropping their first 2, including a win over Roseville. And that sent a signal for everyone that Kiara Buford has this team on the right track. And she's thankful to have a very supportive network. We'll get to that in a moment. Kennedy just running a patient set here, Finley missing. Well, she has her own parents who help support her, and the father of their kids, D-Star, he helps out too. And so she has a lot of people within her network to keep all of her responsibilities on track. Because it's not easy to coach teenagers and then raise 2 kids under the age of 3.
No.
Backdoor pass was a little too high. But Buford had a lot of great tutors in her career. Willie Taylor at St. Paul Central, and say what you will about Pam Borden, but Buford did what she could out of those 4 years. And she said even in those lean years, and there were a lot of them in the end of Pam Borden's tenure, helped her give lessons to her players on fighting through adversity. Because as Tyra Spencer goes to the line, and Kennedy can attest to this as well, based on what happened to them last year, you will go through stretches of games where you can try your hardest and you still come up short.
Yep.
So 4:29 left, and Kennedy up by 21. They should win this game and go to 11-9. Orono's still the favorite, I imagine, in 3A, but if Kennedy can get into the state tournament field, they've got a couple of players who could really do some damage.
I would have to say, just from what I've seen tonight, Mike, Kennedy would be one of the few teams that I think that could match up with Orono physically anyway, and from a size standpoint.
And another team to keep an eye on, Como Park.
Yep.
They're not a tall team. Houston fires the 3, can't bank it. Longs has it. Houston able to keep up with her, but she does commit the foul. Como Park not the tallest team, but Michaela Van Nett is becoming a force of her own, and that can only help the Cougars as it relieves pressure off Andrea Adams. Last week, Van Nett dropped 47 in a game against Humboldt, hit 10 3-pointers.
Wow.
Tying a record.
Of course, I look at the Kennedy bench of assistant coaches, Anna Smith, who played at St. Thomas last year.
And a member of Bloomington Jefferson. And part of Quentin Johnson's tree, believe it or not. And let's talk about that for a little bit here. But that was something that Quentin Johnson did to help this Kennedy program adapt to his vision. And he knows Anna Smith when he was an assistant at Bloomington Jefferson, and Anna Smith having a great couple of years with the Jaguars. Houston with the drive and the finish. Houston with 8 off the bench.
Houston has really surprised me tonight. She's had a tremendous game.
And Kiara Buford doing the same with her Robbinsdale Cooper staff. Among her assistants is Nakia Carlisle, who was a legend at St. Paul Central in the Willie Taylor years. Finley on the drive. No good.
Lakita Davis, who played at Bethel.
You would know that, being a Mayak.
Yeah.
Substitution
Guru.
number 5, Jahira Gaston returning.
And Carlisle held the school record at St. Paul Central until Angel Robinson came along. So these two coaches have surrounded themselves with players who understand the game, and Wheeler got away with tugging Finley's jersey there. A traveling violation on Johnson. It's going to be interesting to see how Kennedy transitions when all the seniors graduate, because Wright-Ponder and Spencer are darn near hard to replace.
Houston with a steal.
Well, when you got someone like that, Houston with the hustle finds Wright-Ponder for another pair. Puts Wright-Ponder up to 22. Houston could be one of those playmakers next year.
Only a freshman.
And we noted with Cooper, just 2 seniors, Dixon and Longs. As Longs hits the baseline J, that'll put her up to 6. Kiara is really excited about the younger players coming up, and I actually wanted to get a chance to talk about them a little bit before we wrap things up with 2 minutes to go, as the deep players are now coming in. And it's going to go to Cooper. Lauren Johnson, one of those players, works at the YMCA daycare. She's a junior and goes to Bible study. Also involved in the church choir in Cooper Cares. Jahia Gaston, known as Jew, plays volleyball and track. And her nickname is Juice Money. She might want to restock on the juice after this one. Speaking of nicknames, there's Asia Wheeler. Her nickname, as she's hit with a charge, her nickname is Poo Poo.
Foul is called number 2.
That's an interesting one.
Wheeler, control foul. That's her 3rd.
But Buford, as we noted, highlighted all of these younger players: Alexis Nance, Asia Wheeler, another one of her regular starters unable to play tonight, Kiara Coops, because of an injury. And her presence certainly missed. But there's a lot to look forward to with this Cooper team.
Yeah.
The key for them, the most important thing is they've improved on their record from a year ago, and indications suggest they'll finish above 500, and that's a good sign. They're going to need to work on finishing down low.
Yep.
But these are things you can do during practices, off-season, when you go through the conditioning, getting these kids to polish their game. And again, you have a player who could still hoop it up if she wanted.
Substitution.
Well, and you look at this young, core group of young players, Mike. Getting better, getting stronger. I think that's going to be the real key for them.
And Kennedy moving forward. Houston could be a player of the future. Honor Finley will be a senior next year. The Saeed Els, they're not tall, but they're scrappy. Here comes Finley. She's fouled, and will shoot 2. And our photographer making a save, keeping Gaston from colliding with the wall. 1:22 to go. We're in stat padding time here, so. All right, Alex, I presume this is your first Metro West conference game. What do you make of it?
Well, I tell you, I'm very impressed with what I saw tonight. And obviously, this rivalry is going to be a heated one for a long time to come, I think.
As we noted, Long's got a technical in the first meeting, and there were some other extracurricular activities that took place. So these two teams, it certainly did not get intense tonight, but that's because Kennedy ran away, and Quentin Johnson's going to call a timeout to get his subs in. In a perfect world, Quinton would have preferred to stay in the South Suburban because of the top-level talent you have down there. Eastview, Shakopee,
right.
They're making some noise in 4A. Okay, no timeout. He was making a, I guess I didn't know this. You can stop play to call in subs. Apple Valley's on the rise, and Quinton effectively gets most of those teams in his non-conference slate. But he said getting some new rivalries in place will be key to making this conference work.
And this is certainly going to be one of them. Lucille Palmquist, 5'9".
And there'll be some new territory.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to jump on you, but new territory with Kennedy, if they get to state, playing in 3A. They've been 4A for forever almost.
Yeah. But I was just going to say Lucille Palmquist, 5'9" junior serve now in for Bloomington Kennedy.
There's Amir Saidel. Came up with some quality minutes as Tyra Spencer had to sit with the head injury. Another 2 points for Alexis Nance. And Nance, a freshman, I imagine with another year of development, she could be a player to watch for this Cooper team. There's Amir Saidel. What a great crossover.
Well, I tell you what, that was just pretty to watch.
Quentin Johnson applauding. Amir Saidel taking a page from Simone Augustus.
And that's one to watch as well.
With the reverse. So a little bit of flair to end this game and a little bit of scrappiness as two players are quarreling to get that ball. Cooper will have it with 10.5 left.
Well, I tell you what, there may be only 10.5 seconds left in this one. The players out on the floor certainly haven't played like that.
And I like that. Play the last minute as if it were the first. But it's Bloomington Kennedy who will pick up another win. They're 11th in the last 12 games, and they will have first place to themselves in the Metro West Conference, 63-39 over the Robbinsdale Cooper Hawks.
Definitely a big win for Bloomington Kennedy tonight, but I think more importantly, Mike, going forward, this is definitely going to be a team to be reckoned with, and I think they have a good shot to not only get to state, but possibly do some damage as well.
And this win certainly will help when it comes to section seating as well.
Absolutely.
So we'll try to get a word with some of the Kennedy players here as they put out an all-out domination. 63-39 the final. This is high school girls basketball. Bloomington Kennedy improves to 11-9. Robbinsdale Cooper falls to 12-7. And I'm joined by Samantha Husting and Lashayla Wright-Ponder of the victorious Bloomington Kennedy Eagles. And Samantha, we'll start with you. Came up with some big buckets off the bench, 8, and you provided that spark all season. So how have you adapted to this team?
It's pretty easy. They're very welcoming, and it's an all-around great team, and we play well together.
The first meeting between these two teams was close. It was emotional, very intense. This time you pulled away and stayed away. How did you pull it off?
We just basically played as a team, and we just worked hard, and pretty much it.
You've won 11 of the last 12 now after dropping the first 9 games of the season, I believe. So how relieving is it to have some wins to reflect on this season?
Oh, it's great. It's very great. Especially as a freshman and having her being a senior,
I suppose it helps when she can just clean up all the misses down low.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Lashayla, let's talk about that. You had at least 6-7 putbacks, and you probably had a double-double by the time this was over. But in the first half, you were just tearing things up in the paint. So Tell me about your role down there.
I don't know. I just didn't think about
Oh,
it.
no.
I just didn't think about it. I just wanted to
Just do it.
Yeah, I wanted to play hard. So, yeah.
Is that your philosophy during any game?
Yeah, yes.
So you just don't think, you do.
Yeah, I just don't think and just play hard. That's the only thing I do.
Well, you might want to work on the thinking part, I suppose, when it comes to strategy at South Dakota next year. But after a very grueling first meeting with this team, what did you guys do to get such a runaway win this time?
We worked hard in practice. We was coming together. We did a lot of drills, a zigzag drill, that defensive drill where it's like intense in practice. So that's what we did to increase our confidence and trust each other.
Your head coach also spoke defense, something he was really excited about, and that really box tonight.
Yes, definitely. They came out playing strong, but we played even harder. So, yeah.
So do you name all based on TV shows?
Well, kind of. A little bit, I guess.
So keep an eye out for pop culture references with this Kennedy team. Now, something I wanted to talk to you about, this happened earlier in the season, but you scored 1,000 points, and a Kennedy alumni, Kanisha Bell, gave you the ceremonial ball to honor that accomplishment. What did that mean for you, and what is it like to have one of the alumni come back and eventually representing the Gophers?
It meant a lot to me. I mean, it just, gosh, I just miss her a lot, and it made me feel like, oh my gosh, she really, came back. I didn't think she'd come to this game ever, so yeah, it meant a lot to me. So, yeah.
And what does this season mean to you as a senior?
It means a lot. I know we're gonna win a state. We're going to state. We're gonna win a state. So.
You heard it here. Kennedy is going to win state, so you don't even have to show up to the 3A bracket. That being said, it's not always easy to get there. So what does Kennedy look to polish up on as they get ready for a playoff push?
Just continue to play hard. I mean, play together, trust each other, and play hard, and yeah.
And then anyone you want to that is watching this game.
My mom's been here, so I don't have anybody.
Well, you could say hi to your mother. I'm sure she wouldn't mind.
Hi, Mom.
What about you, Lashayla?
Hey, Mom.
Got to say hi to Mom, of course. Well, congratulations on a well-played game, getting first in the conference, and hopefully that will parlay into a deep playoff run. Who knows? But it was a lot of fun to see you guys, and I'm sure it's a lot of fun to be winning a lot of games instead of losing them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stark, congrats again, and hopefully we'll see you in state. Samantha, Lashayla Wright-Ponder of the Kennedy Eagles. That wraps things up from here. For all our crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thank you for watching high school girls basketball.